Analyze Jim Gilliland takes a look at how these two AA powers got to the championship game tonight at the Dome.
If there was ever a David and Goliath matchup, this is it. Not only is Anoka High School twice the size of Elk River, its proximity in the northern suburbs makes it seem like the Cardinals' big brother. And brother, are they tough. 480-plus yards in the semifinals against Stillwater. Quarterback Brooke Parent, the senior, hooked up with Jeremy Loretz, number 7, on 2 bombs, one for a second quarter touchdown that put the Tornadoes up for good. Stillwater was hanging on 19-10 before halftime, but the state's top-ranked team just kept coming and won going away 33-10. Elk River lost their opener to Irondale and have since won 12 straight, including a thriller over Brainerd in the semifinals. Jason Klein ripped off some decent yardage early in the game. Leading rusher Brian Rigard got the game's first touchdown. But the outcome wasn't settled until the closing minutes. After tying the game at 14-all, Elk River recovered a fumble on the ensuing kickoff. Shane Martin then took it in for the winning touchdown, and the Elks now face the task of knocking off the big guys from Anoka.
And what a task that will be. Some are saying Anoka may be one of the best teams to ever play high school football in Minnesota, but Elk River is very solid as well. Back with more from the Metrodome in a moment as Prep Bowl 9 continues.
This has to be the best car value in America today, my 91 Ford Taurus. Look, I got a choice of 4 engines, available rear anti-lock brakes, bench seats with plenty of room for 6, and for my family's peace of mind, a driver's side airbag, standard. And check out my wife's great-looking Taurus wagon.
Now save up to $14.50 on a loaded Ford Taurus only at your local Northland Ford dealer.
Hey, for the money, you just can't beat Ford Taurus.
Come on, guys!
Why is the Polar Bear Club having so much fun this winter?
There's no crowds. The water's perfect.
And what's got them really excited is Pepsi's Winter Cool Collection. 6 great designs that celebrate what some people consider the best time of year.
So come on out! And you'll never need a cooler.
Get them now, because they'll be gone with the snow.
I love it!
When your car's down and out, when your engine needs care, don't settle for less. You can run with the best, 'cause precision tune is there.
The Big Freeze is on its way, and we'll help you get ready with this $34.90 tune-up special.
Run with precision. Run with the best.
Who's going to give you a full meal deal? Dairy Queen. Juiciful hamburger and hot crisp fries with a glacier cold soft drink. And a deliciously fresh I Love This Taste sundae. Who's going to deck your halls with a collectible holiday glass? All at one great price, just $2.99. The Dairy Queen Holiday Full Meal Deal. We treat you right. Dairy Queen.
Welcome back to the Metrodome Class AA Championship. The Elk River Elks 12-1 going up against the undefeated, untied, and first #1 ranked team in the state, the Anoka Tornadoes. I'm Greg Coleman along with Doug McLeod, who will be doing the play-by-play, but we're also adding to this mass cast of characters. Jim Gilliland has a new outlook that we're introducing to Prep Bowl. Tyrone Hubbard, a student and player at Burnsville Senior High School, will offer some insight about what it's really like down in the trenches. Jim and Tyrone?
Well, heck, this is my first assignment in the trenches, too. It's getting hairy down here with the Anoka and Elk River fans. But Tyrone Hubbard, welcome. You have an interest in communications, I know, and as Greg mentioned upstairs, a big interest in football as well. He wears the name All Metro behind his name also, because he played the anchor position at center for Burnsville at 5'11", 275 pounds or thereabouts. And Tyrone, you won a state championship as a junior a year ago, so you know what these guys think they're on the verge of, because both teams obviously think they're going to win. What are some of the emotions that are running through the players' minds right now?
Right now, players basically experiencing the glory of just playing here in the Metrodome. This is kind of their time to suck up all the glory they're receiving all through the past week. going through all the preparation of being in the final. You know, and then after they come out from halftime, that's when they'll get down to business.
There's a lot of attention there. They've been built up all week, as you say. They've already each won a game in the Metrodome, and a lot of expectations to live up to.
Yeah, a lot of expectations back home, the hometown city, you know. Kind of expect their teams to come back victorious, you know, and it kind of carries over into this game here tonight.
Okay, only one team could do that, and we'll get Tyrone's unique perspective, having played Anoka this year, and he played Elk River as a junior last year, and has some thoughts on what it might take to win this game as we go along. Let's go back upstairs.
Okay, there you have it, a new insight. We got the inside scoop as Prep Bowl 90 prepares the Anoka Tornadoes against the Elk River Elks, as we have continuing coverage of Prep Bowl 9.
Between the Elk River Elks and the Anoka Tornadoes. Delighted to have you with us at Prep Bowl 9. It has come down to 2 now, as we started at 9:30 this morning, and it seems like a long time ago in the 9-man game. But we've seen some good football here today, but this is the one a lot of people have been waiting for. These two teams are neighbors, as a matter of fact.
Well, the Highway 10 playoff championship, as it's been called around the cities. Elk River, a little bit north of the cities, Anoka north of the cities, both on Highway 10. And we are probably looking at 2 of the finest football teams in the state. Elk River coming in. Anoka defeating Burnsville last week to knock them out, the defending state champions, to knock them out. I tell you, Duck, Anoka probably has the biggest high school team that I have ever seen. When I was in high school, I mean, our team was big. Our offensive line averaged about 250 pounds. Defensive lines anywhere from 230. But these guys are huge, and it's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them. They're very deep. You know, a lot of teams are lucky to be 1 deep at this time of the year with injuries and whatnot. But they can do it here, too. It's Anoka and Elk River, the Class AA champion. Well, that's an interesting decision. Elk River winning the toss and will kick off. No factor of weather involved here, obviously.
No, but I think that's a psychological move. You know, if you kick off and you get your defense on the field and you stop the powerful Anoka offense from the start, that gives your whole team a lift. That's saying, hey, we can stop these guys. They're not invincible. We can line up with them and go toe-to-toe. So defense, it's up to you. I think any head coach would prefer to kick off in a big game like this.
So the Anoka Tornadoes and the Elk River Elks are just about set to go with this game, the Class AA championship tilt from the Metrodome, the 5th and final championship game in the bracket tonight. Along with Greg Coleman, this is Doug McLeod. Ready to go here on Channel 9, our cast of thousands, including Jim Gilliland and our special guest, Tyrone Hubbard from Burnsville High School, who will be offering his observations in another unusual kickoff set here for Ryan Herbold, number 9, the kicker of the Elk River Elks. Deep to receive, number 25, Mike Haney, standing back at the 5-yard line for Anoka. There's the line drive. It'll fall short. It'll squib through the hands. Haney will go after it, but he just touched it, and then it squibbed out of bounds. And a 5-yard line, and that decision to kick off looks real good for the moment for Elk River.
That's the kind of break that Elk River was looking for. They squib kick. They know that their return people are very good, and so you squib kick it. Anything can happen. The ball bounces around. A guy goes down on one knee to try and down it. They down back deep in their territory as we take a look at the offense of Anoka.
Chris Nowak centers that line, and he's a big one, 6'2", 243 junior. Brooke Parent is the quarterback. He's a senior. Peterson, Haney, and Rudnick will work behind him. It is 1st and 10 at their own 5-yard line for Anoka. Turn around, and the give comes to Kevin Peterson, the fullback, as he crosses to get to the 7-yard line, and the safety, Brad Olson, hauls him down on the first play from scrimmage in the game.
You know, we talk about the size of Anoka's teams as we take a look at the defense of Anoka. Dobler, Fagan, Orak, Olson, and Basavage, the frontline people. And the defensive back, Norton, Williams, Tomlinson, Olson, and Gustafson. The secondary.
3rd and 7 at the 8-yard line. The sweep goes to the left side for Mike Rudnick. And Rudnick gets belted at the 10 as well. Shane Martin, the junior linebacker, popped him there. And Mike Rudnick, the all-state running back, gets to the 10-yard line.
You know, emotions are going to be running very, very high in this game because Anoka is known for their powerful offense production. And Elk River has to rise to the occasion. As you take a look at big number 78, who secures the middle, Kevin Olsen, 6'4", 270 pounds.
Brooke Parrott handing off to Peterson, the fullback again, as he crosses the line of scrimmage. And Anoka keeping it on the ground and powering it through. Travis Savage, the junior defensive right end on the stop, gets it to the 13-yard line. And it is a 4th down early game situation now for Anoka, 4th down and 2. And Mark Johnson, who averages 36.6 yards per punt, stands at the goal line to punt the ball away. Big rush, and he got it off. At the 35, and good deep coverage as well, as the Elk River Elks will turn the ball around and get going. Nowak will make the stop. And so now it'll be the chance of Elk River to get going with 10-10 to go in the first quarter. There's no score in our Class AA championship game at the Dome.
Bull versus the Gator. Now there's a sports drink tough enough to take on Gatorade. New Mountain Dew Sport. The sensational sports drink that's got what it takes to put back the fluid sports take out. With a sparkling taste that leaves Gatorade flat.
Later, Gator.
New Mountain Dew Sport, the sports drink you'll want to drink.
A lot of car makers like to talk about performance in terms of seconds. But when you've earned Motor Week's Driver's Choice Award and finished first in J.D. Power and Associates Initial Quality Survey, why bother with seconds when you can talk about firsts? Lexus. Stop by Lexus of Wayzata for a victory lap.
Back at the Metrodome, talking with our sideline reporter, Tyrone Hubbard, offensive lineman for Burnsville. Tyrone, what must be going through the minds of the offensive players of Anoka from Elk River? What do they got to do in order to move this ball down the field?
In order for Elk River to move the ball against Anoka, they're going to have to drive through and break down the Anoka front four.
Okay, that's our sideline reporter, Tyrone Hubbard, as we will be going back and forth with Tyrone throughout the game as Elk River sets up shop on the 35-yard line.
And here we go. Matt Jones and everybody going as they bust right up the middle. And John DeRush, number 34, the junior linebacker, who is the Tornadoes' leading tackler with 107 tackles, 79 of which are solo tackles, makes the stop. Push the ball across to the 30-yard line, a gain of 4, 2nd down and 6.
You know, Anoka also is very, very tough against the run. They have those outside backers that come real hard, and those 2 linebackers sitting in the middle.
Rickard to the right side, Nordine left. Quick motion, the play will go up the middle to Brian Rickard, and he is swarmed into by DeRush and the defensive left end, Brian Bross.
You know, Rickard tips through the first wave of defenders as we take a look at the offense of Elk River. Nordine, Burdett, Brady, Shimmers, Avrila, Swaze, and Moe.
It is Jeff Sturzel, the senior, up there to key the Anoka defense as Matthew Shermers, number 55, the senior center, leads the Elk River Elks to the line, and tremendous penetration again. I'll tell you something. Anoka is quick off the ball. John DeRush continues to key that big charge in from his linebacker spot. Greg Barris, the senior defensive tackle, was there as well, and they're really dominating the line play right now.
Boy, they are coming off the ball. You see them with any sound, any movement, any motion, they're off on the ball as we take a look at the defensive secondary of Anoka.
Now it is 4th down and 6 at the 30. Elk River will throw the dice here. Matt Jones slot to the right. Hopkins, penetration. He got it away to Brian Rickard anyway. Turned the corner, but nowhere near enough for a first down, and a big defensive series early in the game for the Anoka Tornadoes as they came in, and Pete Roback, the All-State cornerback, led the way.
You know, as you take a look here, there goes a shift of emotion because Anoka, very deep in their own territory from the start of this of the opening kickoff, comes back to stop Elk River, who has great field position on a 4th down play.
7:59 to go in the first quarter. Elk River and Anoka are scoreless with Greg Coleman, Doug McLeod, Jim Gilliland, and Tyrone Hubbard down on the sidelines. 1st and 10, Brooke Parent for Anoka. And the defense reacts quickly for Elk River that time as well, with 6'1", 220 senior defensive tackle Scott Fagan leading the way. He's a solid two-way player, a transfer from Texas.
You know, Fagan slams in down the line and comes up. You know, this defensive line of Elk River, they're rising to the challenge, rising to the occasion as well. And they're letting the Anoka Tornadoes know, hey, this is not going to be a cakewalk.
Into the belly of Mike Haney, the senior running back. And I'll tell you something, we have had some tremendous collisions already. Aaron Thomason, the senior cornerback, number 28, got the job done on Mike Haney, the senior running back, in this series. The Anoka cheerleaders with their noise sign now.
You take a look, just a straight handoff, off-tackle play. And number 28, Aaron Tomlinson, comes up with a vicious hit.
Yes.
3rd and short.
It is 3rd and 1 at the 35-yard line. Senior quarterback Brooke Parent. Now Mike Rudnick is in motion. Parent wheels, deals to Haney up across the line of scrimmage. He got the first down. Linebacker Nathan Williams, the 6'2", 195 senior, number 33, made the stop for the Elk River Elks. Well, I said he got the first down, but they're going to spot it at the 37, and they're going to have to bring the chains in now.
Straight handoff, one-on-one, as you see, number 33 from the Elk River defense. Nathan Williams comes in and puts the helmet right between the numbers.
I said he got it.
Well, you were right, Doug.
I said it on TV, so it must be true.
Must be true. First down, Anoka.
6:32 to go in the first quarter. No score in this game. These two teams bashing away on each other. Anoka posted glittering offensive statistics on the way to that 13-game winning streak, leading all AA schools in points scored during the regular season, averaging 35.3 a game. Back to throw. Brooke Parent launches to the right side for Loretz. Overthrown and a penalty marker along the way as Loretz and Andy Nordine were working on each other. Number 26, Nordine, the junior left side corner. And a penalty marker was thrown, and there will be a holding call on Elk River.
Nordine hung on just a little bit long there. As we take another look, looking down at the left part of your screen, Nordine is out of bounds. Tries to come back in and make the interception.
6:12 to go in the first quarter. There's no score in the game. Brooke Parent leads the Anoka Tornadoes to the line. Jeremy Loretz splits to the right side. Terry is the tight end on the right. Haney slot to the left. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. To the up man, Rudnick. And again, keeping it between the tackles and keeping it simple. Anoka grinds them out on the ground as Nathan Williams, the senior linebacker, number 33 again, made the stop. Gain of about 3 on the play. And the ball nudging the 50-yard line now.
Just a straight handoff, and Rudnick piles in over close to the 50-yard line, a pickup of 3-4 yards. 3 or 4 tough yards.
Rudnick with 17 touchdowns on the way to his All-State honors this year. Slot to the right. Stromberg, he's blocking. The hand goes to Haney, turning in the 45 and running out of bounds at about the 44-yard line. And again, Anoka content to keep it short and simple with the time running down in the first quarter. David Dobler, the 5'11", 180 senior, number 40, defensive left end, made the stop. You see him there. A bit of the old hair coming out from under the helmet. Yeah, for Elk River. Loretz goes to the left side on 3rd and short at the 44. About a yard needed for a first down, but as Brooke Parent comes to the line, that doesn't look right, and he will call timeout. 5:29 to go in the first quarter. There's timeout on the field in the Class AA championship game. No score so far.
On the field, sideline reporter doing this AA championship game. Ty, when Anoka moves the ball like they're starting to do, is there a sense that the momentum is starting to shift towards the Anoka Tornadoes, or what's your feeling about that?
Well, with Anoka moving the ball as well as they have been on this drive, Elk River's really going to have to stuff them down, or Anoka's going to take the momentum away from this game today.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Rudnick carrying around the left side with 5:24 to go in the first quarter. Shane Martin on the stop, and that'll be a first down for Anoka. To the 42-yard line. They got it by a couple.
You know, as big and powerful as Anoka is, they just tend to wear you down time and time again.
Jeremy Loretz, number 7, is split wide to the right at the bottom of your screen. It is 1st and 10. Passing on first down. Parent got tripped up, keeping the ball, and then he got assassinated as he came to the line. He is hollering for a face mask penalty. There will be none, and the nose guard, the senior number 54, Jim Orrick, came in and started doing the damage there. He nearly got tripped as he went back. Watch this.
You know, he kind of rolls off, keeps good balance. He still is looking downfield for a receiver, but the Anoka defense comes up with a big play.
Andy Nordine now it is 2nd and 14 at the 46-yard line. Reverse. They cut the corner on Rudnick and get across to the 37-yard line.
Well executed play. It's sort of like an underneath handoff, a quick trap. As you look to the bottom of your screen, you see number 24 comes around. He follows a big pulling tackle, and the tight end leading him up the field, breaks through the crease and almost breaks it.
They're down and 5 for Anoka, marching in the 37-yard line. 4 minutes to go in a scoreless first quarter. Haney. And Elk River comes sailing in a cast of thousands. Aaron Thomason was in there. Travis Pasavage, number 84. Thomason, number 28. And that was all she wrote there. The ball will be just outside the 38 for a loss of a yard, and it's 4th down and 6. And this will bring Bart Johnson, number 21, the Tornadoes punter, on. And it's a fake punt. Now he'll boot it on a free kick practically.
What a great job.
Oh, that was a dandy under pressure.
Great heads-up play by Bart Johnson. Drops the ball, eludes one defender, has enough presence of mind, like somebody else we know, that can get the ball off. We had this to happen as we take a look here. Ball hits him right where it's supposed to in the hand. He eludes one defender, gains his composure, says, hey, I don't have a chance to run. Let's get the ball up, and get it out, and get what we can get.
That was a heads-up move. You know, from the angle I saw it, I hadn't quite realized that it slipped through his hands. Now with 3:20 to go in the first quarter, Elk River takes over.
Hit him in the good spot.
There you go. 1st and 10 at its own 14-yard line. Matt Jones, the senior quarterback. A quick turnaround, snap, and right to the line of scrimmage, and maybe one more. John DeRush on the stop. Let's go down to Jim Gilliland on the sidelines.
Well, as the game progresses, we're here with one of the authorities on Northern Suburbs football, if you will, Ron Scott, who was head coach at Coon Rapids for 19 years and won a state championship there in '83, and now you're an administrator with Anoka, so we can't quite call you impartial, but it must be kind of exhilarating to see the resurgence in the football activity up in your area.
Yeah, the North Suburban area has been very strong in football. The Northern Corridor there with Elk River, Blaine, and Anoka have been doing a really good job of playing very tough football, and this whole league has been great this last year.
How do you see the pressure building on Anoka? You said something interesting earlier that even though they're the favorite here today, there might be some pressure on them, that they're kind of used to it.
Well, they've always been expected to win after they beat Osseo. It's sort of been, they are expected to be the team that is going to be the winner. And so every time they go out, it's nothing new. They're expected to win. And so they have to live up to that toughness all the time, and it's very difficult.
Okay, and the guys in the white shirts, the opponent tonight for all the marbles. Back upstairs.
It is 3rd down and short. The carry goes over the right side and to the 30-yard line. And it'll be a 1st down for Elk River. No score in the game with exactly 2 minutes to go in the 1st quarter, and Brian Rickard has been doing the job.
You know, this is a big 1st down for the Elk River Elks. They come with leading pulling guard. Pulls up. This is the first down that Elk River has had during this early part of the 1st quarter, and it's a big 1st down.
Rickard averaging 4 yards a carry so far. He had 797 yards rushing and 5 TDs on the year. Smacked again as he goes over the left side, a little counter. Andre Lee, who is the leading solo tackler of the Anoka Tornadoes with 82, made the stop. That's Andre Lee, a 6'1", 207 senior, number 47.
You know, he is so quick. It was a quick trap. From the beginning, it looked like it was going to be an enormous game, but Andre Lee comes in and fills and makes a tackle and closes the hole like nobody's business.
The 55s eyeball each other. Matthew Shermer's the senior center of the Elks. Jeff Stursel, the senior nose guard of the Tornadoes, and smacked through a crowd, but complete nonetheless. They launched one through the middle. Roback and the rush made the stop. That was some tough piece of work down there.
You know, it's just a basic three-step drop, quick slant. You make the catch because you know you're going to be hit. Anytime a receiver goes across the middle on a quick slant pattern, you know you better hang on to the ball. You may as well, because you're going to get plastered.
Anthony Gustafson, number 42, the receiver. Now it is 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Back to throw on 1st down. Matt Jones rockets it out, and it is caught by Andy Nordine at the 45-yard line. He's brought down at the 43 by Pete Roback and Bart Johnson. And another big quick out play from Matt Jones, who can hustle out that football.
Yep, Matt Jones throwing the ball with authority. Andy Nordine at the bottom of the screen, just a simple break-in pattern, 5-step drop, and look at the pinpoint accuracy over the linebacker's head in front of the defensive back, and Andy Nordine doing the rest, picking up some valuable real estate as Elk River is on the move here.
Nordine is at the bottom of your screen. It is 1st and 10 at the 44. Jones looking, launching deep for Nordine, and it is out of the way as it got to him by All-State cornerback Pete Roback right at the 1-yard line.
I tell you what, I love to see a team going for the bomb.
Yeah.
They've been trying to pound it inside, but as you take a look at Matt Jones just airing it out, throwing that ball almost 55 yards in the air. Great play by Pete Roback.
Roback had 11 pass interceptions on the season and returned 4 of them for touchdowns. It is 2nd and 10 at the 44-yard line. Matt Jones sets the Elk River Elks. High count. Now it goes to Shane Martin, the fullback. Not very far. Got maybe a couple of yards before Andre Lee, the linebacker, and Ryan Danner, number 84, the senior defensive end, wrapped him up.
That's tough going in the middle against that Anoka defense. Andre Lee leading the charge against this tough Anoka defense.
And that is the end of the 1st quarter of the Class AA championship game. This has been a great scoreless duel so far.
As we go to our sideline reporter, Tyrone Hubbard, with some thoughts about the game thus far.
Greg, I'd just like to mention that Elk River is really handling the up front 4 of Anoka. During our game against Anoka, I noticed we had a lot of trouble with that front 4, and Elk River, I just want to mention that are handling Anoka really well up there in front in the pass.
Ty, do you think that they'll be more successful running right at him, or sort of off tackle, or running some traps at him?
Well, the pass is kind of working for them right now, Greg, so I would assume they would just stick to that. Otherwise, I'd run right down the middle.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Now it is 3rd and 8 at the 42. Second quarter begins. Matt Jones on the fly across the 40-yard line. And smacked out by John DeRush, number 34. Leading it again, like for number 38, the senior safety, was in there as well.
You know, Jones on a rollout, and Tyrone Hubbard made an interesting point that the run was working, the pass was working for them. I thought so too at the end of the first quarter, but they come back. You credit that sack to the defensive backfield because all of the receivers were covered, which brings us into punt formations.
So it will be Shane Martin back to punt. Launches a high one that will drop at the 10-yard line and was double right away. And there will be no return at all for Steve Magnuson, the receiver.
You know, you wonder the way Magnuson just got the ball. Did he go down to one knee because the Elk River Elks continued to pound on him as if he was going to run the ball? Did his knee touch the ground? There was not a fair catch. Yes, he touches. His knee goes down right there. But when you go down, man, stay down. Don't get back up.
Don't get up again.
That's just free shots. But Magnuson does a good job on returning punts for Anoka. Steve Magnuson, the senior.
There's a timeout on the field with 11:38 to go in the first half of our Class AA championship game. No half of the AA championship game. Anoka nothing and Elk River nothing. And the ball goes into play at the 10-yard line as Brooke Parent leads the Anoka Tornadoes and puts the offense to work. Anoka undefeated and untied, 13-0 after going 8-2 last year. They go right to the middle and they go nowhere as Scott Fagan, number 72, the senior defensive tackle, there he is right there.
Fagan on a quick slant inside, a stunt by the defensive line. Nobody picks Fagan up, and he puts a face mask on face mask, and look at the excitement being generated by the Elk River football team.
And Kevin Peterson on his derriere, loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 at the 9-yard line. Throwing high and long and incomplete for Jeremy Loretz, the All-State split end. David Dobler, the senior defensive end, number 40, was there on the coverage. Now it is 3rd down and 11. Anoka in the unaccustomed position of having its back to the wall, deep in its own territory. This is a team that averages nearly twice as many offensive yards per game as its opponents. They've run up over 4,800 yards this season. Look at all that stunting around by the Elk River defense. Lots of motion. There's the give to Mike Rudnick. And he's up to the 13 or 14-yard line.
Well, they almost caught Elk River out of position, but the defense made the adjustment quick enough to come up and slam down Travis Bassard. As we take a look, the hole opens up and Bassard comes up with a big stop. Savage, I'm sorry.
Now a low snap and a kick away on a big rush by Bart Johnson, who just got it off. The fair catch called for at the 38-yard line, and that will turn the ball back again.
You know, it's been pressure on Bart Johnson, the punter from Anoka, all night long. The coaches are starting to realize something. Special teams can also win football games for you. What a big break it would be for the Elk River Elks if they can come up with a block punt.
10:24 to go in a scoreless first half at the Metrodome.
Line reporter Tyrone Hubbard, Ty, being in this position, feeling the emotional swing toward Elk River, how would you attack Anoka right now?
Right now, Greg, what I would do if I was Elk River coach, I would attack Anoka with the run and set up the pass. The pass has been working really well for Elk River, so they need to keep that up.
Okay.
Good advice. Elk River, the 7th highest scoring AA team in the state this year, averaging nearly 26 points a year and over 32 in the section playoffs, will now call timeout.
There seems to be some confusion with Matt Jones. Saw something you didn't like. or maybe they didn't have enough men on the field. They had 9 men on the field. Boy, that will burn a coach. That will chap his hide.
I'll tell you something. Not having enough is as bad or worse than having too many. A good friend of our family's, who was a longtime high school football coach, was a terrible guy for getting up in the morning, and his wife used to kick open the bedroom door and yell, "Coach, too many men on the field," and get out of the way. And that was the only thing. I mean, the house could be burning down. You know, they could be invading the country. It wouldn't matter. Too many men on the field, and that old guy with the flat top would come rising up out of that bed in a big hurry, and you better be out of the way.
Absolutely.
In a very nasty mood.
Boy, we have had a tremendous day of championship football on this festive holiday weekend.
Now, Matt Jones brings the Elk River Elks to the line. 1st and 10 at the 38. Straight drop, and it is complete as he fires up the middle to Anthony Gustafson. And a great line drive right up the gut.
You know, this is what they call a seam pass, as Matt Jones looks for Anthony Gustafson right up the seams. You see him right down, straight down between both linebackers and the safety. Comes up with a lot of real estate, and Jones puts the ball right on the money.
Wide open is Anthony Gustafson, number 42. 1st and 10 at the 15. No score in the game. Elk River marching. They went up the middle that time. And a short gain for Rickard as Andre Lee and Chad Abram made the stop.
These two teams are just pounding out at each other. Defense, as you take a look at Andre Lee, the leader on that Anoka defense. I mean, there's nothing fancy about it. No flea flickers and all that kind of stuff. This is just flat-out hard-nosed football. I beat my man and you beat yours, and we'll see who's on top at the end.
Wide outs both sides. This one will go to Shane Martin. That's fullback duty there. You take it right up between the tackles, and he gets inside the 10 to about the 6 or 7 yard line, and again it was Chad Abram who made the stop on the play. Abram, number 91, the 6'1", 190 senior defensive left tackle. Ball is spotted at the 7. It is 3rd and 2 for Elk River, with 9 minutes exactly to go and a scoreless first half at the Metrodome. Matt Jones with Martin and Rickard lined up behind him. Knapp wide right and Nordine to the left. To the left, fake handoff. Jones calls his own number, gets to the 5, stood up and swarmed off it. Andre Lee and number 21, Bart Johnson, the junior safety, with the numbers of the trucks that hit Matt Jones as he tried to turn the left corner.
Boy, this is meat and potato time right here. 1st and goal. As Matt Jones just takes it, being determined. Look at the leg drive after being pounded by Andre Lee and a host of other Anoka defenders.
Here we go. 1st and goal for Elk River at the Anoka 5. In it goes for Shane Martin. He gets to the 2-yard line, and he gets popped good and hard on it by Bart Johnson, number 21. John DeRush, the linebacker, was in to help, but it was Bart Johnson, the junior safety, who made the big stop.
You see number 9 right in the screen. He fights off a couple of tacklers. Ball down on the 2-yard line.
Well, sir, this is serious. Dig a big hole and get it in football. Look at this. Split backs, double tight end set. 2nd down and goal at the 2. Matt Jones on the count to the belly of Rickard. Touchdown! Elk River scores as Brian Rickard, number 47, carries it in from the 2. So he finally has something in this game. It's 6-0 Elk River.
I tell you, what a decisive, determined running back Brian Rickard as he takes the handoff following. Good block by that lead fullback, number 35. Shane Martin comes up with a big block.
7 carries, 25 yards for Rickard. That one goes sailing through the uprights off the toe of Ryan Herbo. And with 7:50 to go in the first half, first blood goes to the Elk River Elks. It's Elk River 7 and Anoka nothing. The prep bowl continues in just a moment.
to Brian Rickard. But watch number 35, Shane Martin, who throws a tremendous block, who leads him in. Take a look. Here comes a trap down. Number 77 leads him in. Shane Mack
Beauty.
throws a big block, and Rickard takes it in for the score. Now let's go down to sideline reporter Tyrone Hubbard. What does this do to Anoka? I mean, they were the #1 team in the state to get scored on first in a championship game.
Well, Greg, you know, Anoka having that strong front four, it's got to be devastating to get drilled off the ball like they just did on that last drive, with Elk River just punishing them right down the middle.
7:50 to go in the first half. The thoughts of Tyrone Hubbard, Burnsville Brave. They had their moments here. We are delighted he could be with us on the sidelines tonight. Herbold sends a line drive that will pop away at the 20-yard line. Finally be picked up down there, and a chance to run, but nowhere to go. Tim Skelly turned the corner for Anoka, but I'll tell you, Elk River has got the burners turned up now, and the Elks had great penetration there.
Matt Burton coming in with that almost decapitating Tim Shelley on that return. He was holding that ball out like a loose loaf of bread. You know, when your mama sends you to the store to get a loaf of bread, you don't hold it out like that. You tuck that baby up under your arm.
I eat some of it. Here's a quick pitch back to Mike Haney, turning the corner, smacked at the 30-yard line. Shane Martin led the way, but the Elk River defense is swarming to the man right now, and they are getting 2 and 3 tacklers now on many of these ground plays. They'll put the ball right at the 31-yard line. Gain of 4 on the play, 2nd down and 6. For Anoka, you can beat on them all night, but they just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. Loretz, the wideout. Rudnick in motion. On the rollout, Brooke Parent at the 35, and they finally had to go high on it to get him out. Travis Savage, number 84, the junior defensive end, ruled him out of bounds.
We've got a penalty flag down on the field. It'll be holding against Anoka as we take a look at Parent, who rolls out. Right there, gets to the outside, being run out of bounds by Travis Savage.
But the penalty is going to be on Anoka. So all that open territory does no good. The ball goes back to the 17-yard line.
Tough call on Anoka.
It is 2nd and 20 now at the 17-yard line. And Parent takes a look, loads the pattern, straight drop, 2-man rush, and it's complete right in the flat to Haney. Great broken field move by Mike Haney, who gets to the 30-yard line. That's a 13-yarder right there. And Scott Fagan, the defensive tackle, 72, and the right corner, Aaron Thomason, number 28, made the stop.
Great call by Coach Dwayne Johnson from Anoka. Seeing that the defensive linemen are starting to tee off, he runs that, invites them in, runs that middle screen.
Now
he picks up a big chunk of that lost yardage on the penalty.
3rd and 7. Parent guns it, and it is caught by Jeremy Loretz. Here goes Loretz down the sideline, and he's picked up inside the 5-yard line by Anthony Gustafson, number 42. Anthony Gustafson shaped a sure thing there. That had pay dirt written all over it.
Big play. The cornerback, number 25, Joey Olson, takes a gamble. On defense, you go for the interception or you play it safe. He went for the gamble, and he lost. He rolled the dice, and they came up snake eyes.
And but for that great play by Anthony Gustafson, here it is inside the 10. Oh, boy, just got him on the left ankle. Still it is 1st down and goal at the 3, and not in.
This Anoka team is just like a Timex. They take them licking, but they keep on ticking, and they bounce back. You can step on them, you can beat them, you can throw them outside in the cold weather, but they just keep bouncing back with sheer determination on a well-executed play.
Kevin Peterson, the fullback, carried at that time. Now it is second down and goal at the 3. Lawrence wide to the left side. Curran, they go up the middle, and they don't get in. David Dobler, 40, the defensive end, is there as Mike Rudnick could not get through. They nudge it inside the 2 now, but just barely. Actually, the nose of the ball is on the 2.
Now look who's playing safety. On defense, number 10, that's Matt Jones, the quarterback, who also fills in as an outside linebacker.
Third and goal at the 2. It goes to Rudnick, and it is in. Mike Rudnick scoring his 18th touchdown of the year. The All-State running back gets the Anoka Tornadoes on the board with 4:43 to go in the first half. Now it's 7-6.
First sign of life from the Anoka Tornadoes. Just a straight handoff, some great blocking on the inside as Mike Rudnick just waltzes into the end zone. The extra point is up.
Steve Magnuson will drill it through, and this baby is all tied up. Nothing decided by any means on the way to the Class AA Championship hardware at the Metrodome. 4:43 to go in the first half. The score is now Anoka 7 and Elk River 7. Fans join KMSP Saturday, December 1st and Sunday, December 2nd at the 8th Annual Victorian Christmas at the former Harold's Department Store at the Conservatory in downtown Minneapolis. And on these 2 days only, you'll get in free if you have an FTV card. Get your picture taken with Father Christmas free of charge, and adults can enjoy a free cup of holiday tea as well. The Victorian Christmas is a benefit for the Science Museum of Minnesota. Be sure to come out and visit us. The dates again, Saturday, December 1st and Sunday, December 2nd. 4:43 to go in the first half. It is a 7-7 game, Elk River and Anoka, as Steve Magnuson tees up the ball. Let's take a look at the touchdown again.
Just a straight handoff. The pulling guard coming from the right pulling guard. Sealed block by the tight end, comes down. Linebacker trips.
Barris now will kick it off and sail it into the end zone. So they switch kickers and will get a touchback for their trouble as the ball will be trotted out to the 20 and with 4:43 to go in the half. It'll be 1st and 10 for Coon Rapids, or for Elk River rather. Got the right edge of town anyway.
Yep, I have seen more straight-on kickers in this championship series than I have seen in a long time for high school players. It's good to see. It does my heart good. Straight-on kickers, a dying breed.
It certainly is. I like to see it too. He's going to kick straight on. Over the right side, and Rickard will carry with a stop by Andre Lee, number 47, and Jeff Skersel, 55, the nose guard. Gain of 6. It is second down and 4.
Here we take another look. Just a straight handoff. It's tough going in the middle. It's tough in the trenches. I'd like to see him go off tackle, or even put the ball up in the air right about now.
Jones on 2nd and 4. Oh, and it just got snipped out in record time as Abram and DeRush came in and shut that baby down. 3:55 to go in the half. And you're right, it's been in the trenches. Here's a trench eye view.
There's no room for foul manners down there. It's butt-face football down there, baby.
3rd and 1 at the 29-yard line. They go up the middle, and I don't know here.
It depends on the spot. It depends on if he gave him the left foot or the right foot.
They gave it to him at his first down, Elk River.
The official at the top of the screen gave him the left foot. I'll see people will say, what do you mean by the left foot? When the official spots the ball, if he spots it off his outside foot 9 times out of 10, you'll get the first down if he spots it on the inside. As we take another look at the quarterback sneak, if he spots it on the inside foot 9 times out of 10, you're going to be short. So he gave him the outside foot. First down, Elk River.
Jacob Knapp, 44, split to the right side on 1st and 10, rolling and firing, and it is intercepted by Pete Roback for Anoka. And a big pass interception as the All-Stater Roback nails his 12th interception of the year.
An ill-advised pass by Matt Johnson. The receiver was covered. Matt Johnson picks up. As we take a look, he fakes a handoff in the middle, rolls off to the right. He's being pressured. He tries to hurry, and he throws the ball to the wrong jersey.
Now the Anoka Tornadoes from the 33. 1st and 10, deep drop for Parent, and he's going to carry it himself. Parent to the 20, and brought down across the 20-yard line. Andy Nordine, number 26, laid hands upon him, and Brooke Parent on the keeper. Gets inside the 20. Another first down for Anoka. And the Tornadoes now have 5 of them so far.
You know, as we take a look at the scramble by Britt Parent, Tyrone Hubbard, what does a turnover like this do in a championship game like this? We'll be right with you right after this play.
1st and 10 at the 19-yard line, and they smack it into a pile right there. Kevin Olson makes the stop.
Tyrone, with a turnover like this, with Elk River driving, and they come up, Anoka comes up with a big interception as we wind down in the first half. What does this do to this Elk River team?
This turnover, Greg, is going to turn over the halftime thoughts of what each team's going to think when they go into the locker room here. Elk River had a good start off a good drive there, and Anoka just kind of took it over. And if they score on this drive, it's really going to turn the trade of this game.
2nd and 8 at the 17-yard line. This gets big pursuit as well, and will make it up inside the 17, which was the line of scrimmage. Maybe some more, as Rudnick was nailed by Jim Orrick, number 54, the nose guard, coming around.
I certainly agree with Tyrone as we take another look at the handoff. Just a straight handoff. Off tackle Mike Rudnick, as the Elk River defenders, a host of them, come in to make the stop, which brings up a 3rd down. 3rd and 7.
Now a single setback. Receiver on the left, Quinn's right. Parent is back on the option. Parent on the right to the 15. Parent to the 10-yard line. Jigs into the 5 and gets down inside the 3-yard line. A great individual effort by quarterback Brooke Parent before Shane Martin finally got him out of bounds. With 1:14 to go in the half.
Brent Parent playing heads-up football. Both wide receivers are covered. As you see, Parent drops back. And watch to your right of your screen, number 72, Scott Fagan loses containment. That gives him the outside to pick up some valuable real estate and watch a block, not much of a block, but just a shield by Jeremy Lawrence.
Here comes Rudnick, and he's in for the touchdown. That is Mike Rudnick, who nails it again with 1:08 to go in the first half, and the Anoka Tornadoes strike again. It's 13-7. That is the 2nd touchdown of the game for Rudnick, who now has 29 yards in 10 carries.
That's what a turnover will do deep in your own territory.
The point after is blocked. It was blocked by Travis Pasavage, number 84 of the Elk River Elks. So there will be only a 6-point play there with 1:08 to go in the first half. It's now 13-7 Anoka. And Mike Rudnick, the All-Stater, carries it in for his 2nd of the game and 19th touchdown of the year.
You know, as big a touchdown as that was, keep in mind the blocked extra point will probably come back at some point in this game to haunt the Anoka Tornadoes. In a championship game of this sort, where both defenses are playing well, offenses are moving the ball, you can't afford to have mistakes like that, and this one may come back to haunt them.
13-7 Anoka. 1:08 to go in the first half.
And something else missing that extra point does. Okay, as we take another look, everything looks okay. It's a good snap, but just tremendous effort by number 84, Travis Basavage, to come in to block the extra point, will come back and become a very, very important factor as this game wears on. What it also does, it gives the Elk River team an emotional lift. Say, hey guys, all we got to do, score a touchdown, kick the extra point, we can win this football game.
Andy Nordine is deep to receive, end over end. Oh, and he just got it off his fingertips and into the end zone. Right at the goal line. Anyway,
Barris, straight on kicker. Big guy, puts the ball in the end zone.
6 foot 212. You can get a lot of toe on it when you're on that size.
Well, he probably, if we can get a shot of his shoes, I'm sure he wears a size 13, 14, or 15.
He will line up as the defensive right tackle for the Tornadoes here. It is 1st and 10 at the 20 for Elk River. Matt Jones, the senior quarterback, goes to work as they try to cut him inside, and he gets nowhere. Jones calling his own number, but the Anoka defense jumps to the spot. And Chad Abram, number 91, the left tackle, made the stop.
Now, if you're Anoka and you see that Elk River is starting to play conservative, I would start using those timeouts, force them to punt. You may get another chance to score before the half is over.
2nd and 9, 21-yard line. 37 seconds to go in the first half. Jones for Rickard, and he gets whipped to the deck by John DeRush, number 34, the leading tackler of the Anoka Tornadoes, as Brian Rickard carried it right to the line.
Elk River starting to play relative conservative here. Just a straight handoff up the gut. And number 34, John DeRoche, comes up with a big play. With 22 seconds remaining, Anoka has called a timeout because it's 3rd down and 6. Now, if you don't make the first down, you know, let's go back to Tyrone. Tyrone, your 3rd down and 7. If you don't make this first down, Anoka comes up with a big play, they score. Is this ball game close to being over? Well, I guess our sideline reporter didn't.
Sorry, Tyrone, I guess we lost you there, buddy. We'll get back to you sooner or later. We really do want to come down and talk to you. 22 seconds to go in the first half. 13-7 Anoka. The fake, and again, Jones on the keeper gets just to the line. He might have got to the 25 for a gain of 1. Barris and Ryan Danner, number 68 and 84, the defensive tackle and end, were there.
Okay, now let's go back to Tyrone Hubbard, our sideline reporter. Tyrone, the tide is starting to turn right now. Anoka playing conservative. Elk River starting to play conservative. If Anoka gets another touchdown with 16 seconds left in the half, is this game close to being over?
Greg, you know, Anoka being the favorites and Elk River having the momentum in the first quarter. If Anoka scores on this drive, it's got to be close to being over. Elk River can come back, obviously, but the front four of Anoka is starting to build up their strength back.
Voice of Tyrone Hubbard and the thoughts of the Burnsville Braves' outstanding player, who's our guest this evening down on the sidelines. Meanwhile, it is 16 seconds, the time remaining in the first half. The ball is at the 25-yard line. It is 4th down and 5.
Doug, do you come after him with an all-out blitz? You take a chance on roughing the punter?
Pressure never hurts. Here they come. The boot is cleared, and it is out of bounds. Drops into the Elk River bench. So now 10 seconds only, the time remaining in the first half. Anoka leading Elk River by a score of 13-7. And as you mentioned, Greg, that missed point after touchdown. Right now, it makes it only a 6-point margin. We've, of course, no way of knowing what the second half is going to bring, but anytime that happens, a coach goes, oh, brother, I just felt another couple gray ones growing up there. I can feel those guys coming in right now.
With 10 seconds remaining, this is probably a very critical time for the Elk River defense. They want to shut down Anoka. They don't want to give them a chance to score before the half is over, but Anoka is going deep.
Herron on the straight drop. It is deep for Loretz, and it is caught at the 20-yard line. And the Tornadoes come out firing. It is Pete Roback, rather number 9. He's a cornerback who caught a 30-yard touchdown pass with 12 seconds left in the first half against Stillwater, and they're bringing Roback in again. That was the first time in his life that Roback had ever been on an offensive play. You just saw him there, number 9, make the catch again. Now they'll try the field goal, and it is no good. A 30-yard attempt, and it is no good as time expires. Well,
Elk River dodges a big bullet.
Yes.
After a nice pass downfield, Anoka in position to put points on the board, but come up short on the field goal.
We had a little something for everybody in that first half, including an unsuccessful field goal attempt by Steve Magnuson.
As you see the snap, the hole was bobbled just a little bit, but it goes right where he kicks it, straight down the middle of the field. Usually the soccer-style kickers will bring a little hook, a little right to left, but let's go to Jim Gilliland down on the field.
Terry McLean has stopped by just before intermission. What do you got to get straight in there? You started well, but lost a little momentum in the second.
I'm real happy with our defense. I mean, our kid touched the ball and they made a catch, and they're a good team. We just need to keep going the way we are, and maybe we can get a break and come out on top.
They're a real quick, good group up front on defense, and you need to regain some momentum offensively. Have you got any tricks in the works, or how do you see the offensive movement that you need?
Well, they've got great speed. They're going to pursue to the ball a lot better than any team we've played for a long time, but we're handling them up front. I'm real happy with our offense and defensive line both. I think we can move the ball. You know, we're right in the game. That's what we wanted to be.
All right, if you can hang in there on defense, Terry McLean still hoping for a state championship tonight. Thanks for stopping.
Yep.
Good luck in the second half. Back upstairs.
All right, Jim, it is the Anoka Tornadoes 13 and the Elk River Elks 7, halftime of the AA championship game. Interesting about the bands. They book these bands a year in advance. They have no idea who it's going to be, but when we come back, we'll see the band they booked a year ago for this game. It's the band of the Anoka Tornadoes. We'll be right back at halftime.
These people. I don't understand these people.
With Greg Coleman, Doug McLeod at the Class AA championship game of Prep Bowl 90. It's the Anoka Tornadoes 13, the Elk River Elks 7. The halftime entertainment courtesy of the Anoka High School Marching Tornadoes.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's halftime at America's finest high school football classic, Prep Bowl 9, here in the Hubert H. Humphrey Metrodome in Minneapolis. Throughout the day, 6 outstanding high school Minnesota marching bands have entertained audiences here in the Metrodome and throughout the state via live television. These young musicians and music educators are currently providing music and music education in their respective schools and communities across our state on a daily basis. Once again, we salute the bands from Spring Lake Park High School, Pipestone High School, Owatonna High School, Marshall High School, and Rosemount High School. And now for the halftime performance of tonight's AA championship football game. The Minnesota State High School League invites you to greet, under the direction of Mr. John Lace, the Anoka High School Marching Tornadoes. the Anoka High School Marching Tornadoes. Ladies and gentlemen, the Minnesota Association of Dance Lines conducts an annual dance line competition each spring. And each year, the top 2 dance lines in each category are invited to Prep Bowl to perform during the halftime of the AA Championship football game. The winning dance lines invited to perform at Prep Bowl 9 represent communities across the state of Minnesota and are the Academy of Holy Angels Starliners, Deb Bundy, advisor; the Alexandria Cardinalettes, Shelley Burgow, advisor; the Apple Valley Avers, Terry Lindermuth and Heidi Rajapuri, advisors; the Bloomington Kennedy Colleen, Cindy Hansen, advisor; the Brainerd Kexters, Cindy Clow, advisor; the Mound West Tonka Mohawkettes, Debbie Smith, advisor; the Waconia Lakettes, Don Swears, advisor; and finally from Wayzata, the Trojets, Leslie Swigum and Sue Iverson, advisors. Now these dance lines represent over 150 dance line groups in Minnesota high schools, and the State High School League is proud of their individual and collective accomplishments. And now, ladies and gentlemen, stand by, music and motion, as we showcase front and center our 8 winning Minnesota dance lines to the music from the Walt Disney movie, The Little Mermaid. Here is Under the Sea. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1990 Prep Bowl salutes the dance lines from Academy of Holy Angels, Alexandria, Apple Valley, Bloomington Kennedy, Brainerd, Mound West Tonka, Waconia, and Wayzata. The marching bands from Spring Lake Park, Pipestone, Marshall, Owatonna, Rosemount, Anoka, and the Lakeville High School Choir. And especially you, the parents and fans of Minnesota high school football. Thank you very much.
Boy, the crowd really got into that with those combined dance lines, and the Anoka Marching Tornadoes, who, as I mentioned earlier, were booked last year for this game. They're here strictly coincidentally, but mighty happy of it, because at halftime of the Class AA Championship game, it is the Anoka Tornadoes football team, 13. Tornadoes lead the Elk River Elks by a score of 13-7. Delighted to have you with us, part of our Thanksgiving weekend programming on Channel 9 with Greg Coleman. This is Doug McLeod. Jim Gilliland, Tyrone Hubbard with us on our Class AA broadcast as well. Well, let's see how this all developed in the first half of play as the Elk River Elks got going and drew first blood in the game.
You know, it's been a hard-hitting game, but Brian Rickards takes a handoff off tackle and draws first blood as the Elk River Elks take a 7-0 lead in the first quarter.
And a lot of that, just take a deep breath and go. Anoka came back on the snap here as it goes.
Rudnick, basically an outside handoff, who just waltzes into the end zone. I mean, nobody touches the guy. Shows you the kind of stuff that the offensive line is made of, the makeup of those guys from Anoka.
And then Brooke Parent went to the air as the Tornadoes struck again in the second quarter to take the lead.
And he sets up Rudnick again, who waltzes in. Well, he didn't really waltz in on this one. He had to bust it a little bit to get in on this one.
The point after, however, was unsuccessful, and so it is 13-7, Anoka leading now. Here are the halftime numbers for you.
Elk River was 60 yards rushing, basically equal yards rushing. Anoka 77, but the yards passing, and the bulk of that yardage coming on one of the final plays of the half. Pass attempts virtually equal. Time of possession, 13 minutes compared to almost 10 minutes at Elk River.
So it is Anoka 13 and Elk River 7 as we get ready for the start of the third quarter.
Let's go down to Tyrone Hubbard, our sideline reporter, and see what his thoughts are on the first half of the AA championship game. Tyrone?
Well, Greg, I have to renege on my prediction of this game. I really feel that Elk River has done what I think they couldn't have done, and that is control the front line of the Anoka defense. At the end of the second quarter, Anoka's front four line was starting to penetrate, but I assume that the coaches of Elk River have tried to fix that in the locker room at halftime.
So are you changing your mind? Are you swaying your allegiance away from Anoka towards Elk River, Tyrone?
I think this is going to be a great game. I'm not really sure who's going to win it.
Oh, you sound like Jesse Ventura. You sound like a politician. You can't waver the fence. You got to give me a one way or the other. Is it Elk River or is it going to be Anoka?
I think I'm going to have to say Anoka on this point, Greg.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tyrone.